Welcome to another episode of the Fishing Daily podcast here at the Catch Welfare Platform Conference in Bergen, Norway. And today we're talking with Albin Gräns. And Albin, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, I'm a researcher at SLU in Sweden. It's the largest university in Sweden, but it's spread all over the country, and we'll work with a lot of life science research. And I run a group that's sitting at Gothenburg University, and in my group we work basically with all kinds of questions related, but most always related to the welfare of fish and lately some crustaceans as well.
And what sort of innovations are you working on yourself?
I am working, so my basic training comes from, I'm a physiologist, so working with actually how every animal responds or perceives what happens to it. And usually we still do it, but in our work, what we've been working with a lot is different of biosensors. Originally, they were with wires hanging out, and then they become miniaturized with kind of the mobile technology hand in hand. So making implantable loggers. So with them, we can implant one of the most commonly used ones are heart rate and temperature loggers. So we surgically implant them, and then we let the fish recover, and then we can follow them whatever they're exposed to. So if it's in aquaculture, it could be like a handling procedure or different feeds or just the routines of before coming up to slaughter. And in that work, we kind of ran into a dead end where we realized that they needed some new innovations, some new techniques to look into how to validate whether or not stunning in connection to slaughter was successful or not. And it's especially the longest in terms of legislation. Norway is the one that probably is the furthest, because here they state that it needs to be validated with brain activity readings, so EEG readings.
Yeah.
And this was a very tricky and invasive technique, and a lot of people that have been doing this have retired over the years, so very few. So we kind of realized, well, we need to solve this ourselves. So within the group, we start working with this, and we developed a small cap, basically a silicone cap containing 3 electrodes that we suck onto the head to the fish. And then we can pick up how it's receiving the EEG of the fish and how it's reacting to stimulus in the environment. You can also do this via needles, and it's the different species, you need to do different techniques. But so our innovation here, that's actually, now we're trying to take this into use, because we know when starting to work with it, we get contacted by people from aquaculture, all these different species all across the world, asking for using it. And now we've been introduced to fishermen and asking for them to start looking into developing stunners for wild catches. And what we're now trying to do is take this technique and miniaturize it, simplify it, make it robust, make it cheap, so we can start using it, and other people can start using it. So we actually start looking into all these different species and places and gears and stunners in a more. The few of us in Gothenburg can't do it ourselves, so we need to spread it.
Yeah. So has the fishing industry become involved with your research?
So I was what I'm asked for the meeting. I'll present that on Wednesday. Is a project that's humane stunning in pelagic fisheries, and I was approached by an animal welfare organization in Denmark that joined up with the pelagic fishermen organization in Denmark, and they wanted to start looking into possibilities of stunning and humane stunning for for their industry, and we decided to work with herring. So I've been going out to start with on big RSV herring trawlers to see the status of the fish when they come up, and then like how to actually add on and where to add on a possible stunner.
So yeah, and within the pelagic fishing itself, there's a wide variety of how different fish are caught and different techniques. So like blue whiting is trawled in sort of like a mid-water trawl. Mackerel can be porcined or trawled, and herring the same way. So you've got a lot of different aspects within pelagic to look at.
Yes, and that's turned out to be really what we were basically. We could say that we were on the wrong boat because these large RSV trawlers for herring, it's mid pelagic trawling, mid-water, so no, and
Yeah.
the catch size they're getting up, and whether or not it's in the trawl or if it's when they are pumped, but once they reach the separator to the water, basically these fish are already dead. So introducing a stunning system in one of these fishings with this kind of gear doesn't really make sense. But we are looking at our boats, similar species and similar methods, but taking smaller catch sizes each time. And there's survival rates of up to, well, above 80%. So there it would make sense to start looking into a stunner, onboard stunner.
And for fishermen, where does the value lie and catch welfare? Because we know in a lot of places that they'll say, well, it takes time, and it takes money, and it takes away from how much we can earn over a period of 3 or 4 days when we should be fishing. Why would you say to fishermen they should be looking at catch welfare?
Well, I think the reason why we were approached to start with from this organization was really looking into in the future what to expect. So, and there were some discussions at the meeting today of what the demand will be from retailers to buy the fish in a few years, or what. So maybe it's not a matter of the how much. It's securing the future, I would say, rather than making extra money now, or actually it would cost with. If it turns out that you need to install a stunner, that will have quite a high cost, especially for smaller vessels, of course.
So this is what you're going to be talking about on Wednesday will be the pelagic sector. So people should tune in and watch this if they're interested in pelagic fishing.
I think if you're interested in the large-scale pelagic fishing and the welfare of those, and also I would try to focus it a bit on what we actually work with, what we didn't succeed in this, but actually developing a stunning system and validating stunning systems that could be used potentially on future pelagic boats.
Well, Albin, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and looking forward to Wednesday and hearing what you have to talk about there.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.